Hey folks, today I thought we could go through the nominees for IBMA Guitar Player of the Year. Now this is one of the big award shows in the bluegrass world. I suspect that some of you newcomers to bluegrass maybe aren't super familiar with the IBMAs, and those of you that have been around for a while, maybe you just want a breakdown of the nominees. So that's what we're doing today. I do want to say that this video is not sponsored by the IBMA, and so I'm just doing my best. Maybe I might say something wrong. But let's start with, what is the IBMA and what do they do? So IBMA stands for International Bluegrass Music Association. They have one big event every year where they present the International Bluegrass Music Awards. And this year, the event runs from September 27th to October 1st. It's normally that last weekend in September, and that includes the business conference, the artist showcase, the award show, and the street festival. There's also like an expo center too. This is all kind of called World of Bluegrass. That's what they call that. Now, if you happen to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, and you want to go to IBMA, there's a ton of stuff that you can do for free. They closed down this whole big part of downtown, and there's a bunch of just stages that you can go to and enjoy a bunch of good music. In the hotel, they have a bunch of artist showcase that you can go to. Some of them are in hotel rooms. They're very intimate. Others are in sort of these smaller conference rooms. Now, you do have to sign up separately for the business conference if you want to go through that. And I can't remember what all the categories are, but there's different categories for people who are like musicians or songwriters or broadcasters. You do also have to purchase separate tickets for the awards show if you want to go to that. And that's kind of what we're interested in today. For the awards show, voting is done by what they call IBMA professional members. And you can purchase a membership at their website. It's ibma.org/membership. The first year of membership starts at around $75, I think, last time I checked. And you get access to their newsletter and like radio lists and other kind of general bluegrass perks. You also get discounted tickets for some of these other things. But of course, you get to vote in all of the categories that you're interested in. So if you want to sway how the vote goes, you have to go sign up. Today, we really only care about Guitar Player of the Year, though. What can I say? This is a bluegrass guitar YouTube channel. So let's go through the nominees. Now, I'm going to be reading off of notes here, so forgive my wandering eyes. Brian Sutton is a Grammy Award-winning bluegrass guitarist, and he is a 10-time IBMA Guitar Player of the Year, most frequent recipient of the IBMA Guitar Player of the Year award, I should say. He has won it more than anyone else. He's also a nominee for Instrumental Recording of the Year for Vertigo on the Bela Fleck record, My Bluegrass Heart. If nothing else, I think he's going to win for that. Brian Sutton, if you don't know a lot about him, was born in Asheville, so he's a North Carolina native. He grew up playing in a family band, and he kind of became a household name in the bluegrass world when he was playing for Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder. He eventually left that project to go do studio session work in Nashville, which I believe he still does to this day. And he does still tour, though. He tours with Hot Rise, and he joined Hot Rise after their original guitar player, Charles Sawtelle, that you're probably really familiar with if you're into Hot Rise. After Charles Sawtelle passed away, Brian Sutton filled the spot. And that was in, I want to say, the early 2000s, maybe? Something like that. If you're a Chris Thile fan, he's also the original guitar player for the group that would become the Punch Brothers. So right before the Punch Brothers, Chris Thile put out a record that has Brian Sutton on it and the rest of what would become Punch Brothers. As a student of bluegrass guitar, you probably also know Brian Sutton from his Artist Works course. And I highly recommend that course. It's great. You get to exchange videos with Brian. He's a really smart guy. He really knows bluegrass guitars. So if you haven't checked out that course yet, you should check it out. Now, in terms of whether or not Brian will win this award, I think that he has a really good chance. If history has shown us anything, Brian wins this award all the time. But lately they've been giving the award to a lot of the younger players that are out here. So maybe we'll see a repeat of that this year and the award will go to one of the other nominees instead of Brian. It seems like the Academy. It seems like the IBMA professional members do like to give awards away to people who are, have done tons of work in the community for decades, but they also are really interested in newcomers and people that are really exciting right now. So for instance, I believe last year Billy Strings won, right? So they're not just going to keep giving the award to the same guy over and over again if you suspect that. Brian He is an incredible guitar player, though. I don't want to take anything away from him, but that seems to be the way that things are going. Hopefully that's not overstating. Brian, I still hope you win. Next up is fan favorite Billy Strings, Grammy Award-winning bluegrass guitarist. He's two-time IBMA Guitar Player of the Year winner. I think he's nominated for like 6 awards this year by the IBMA. He also won Entertainer of the Year last year, which is kind of like the big one, right? He is definitely got a chance for Guitar Player of the Year. He is probably the biggest name in bluegrass right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if Billy got it.
20 long years for some dust in a baggie.
If you don't know much about Billy Strings, he was born in Lansing, Michigan. His stepfather, Terry Barber, is kind of the big person that got him interested in traditional music. It was his aunt that gave him the nickname Billy Strings, which eventually became his stage name, of course. Billy Strings kind of really started making waves in the bluegrass scene with his duo work that he did with Don Julin. I'm sure a lot of you remember that. He eventually released a solo album, and then he put together the group that would be sort of his touring and recording group that he plays with to this day. There was, I guess, a lineup switch there. He changed mandolin players, but basically the same group. In terms of Billy winning this award, I mean, he's the big name right now. I would be really surprised if Billy didn't at least have a shot at this thing. The only thing that might, I think, keep Billy away from winning this award is kind of the adherence to traditionalism. We have a lot of people voting that are really interested in like the preservation of bluegrass, and that might mean that Billy's work feels too progressive to some of the voters. I don't think that'll be a huge issue though, because he's already won twice. So Billy stands a good chance to win. I'm gonna say this after every single person, but Billy, I hope you win. All right, next. Now, if you're new to bluegrass, I think this might be one of the names that you're less familiar with, and that's Cody Kilby. Cody Kilby became a national flat picking champion, and that's a big deal. It's separate from IBMA. There is the Walnut Creek Bluegrass Festival in Winfield, Kansas. That's where they have the national flat picking championship every year. And tons of just amazing flat pickers come in and compete with these beautiful arrangements. And I think Cody Kilby won for the first time when he was like 17 or something. So he's an amazing guitar player. He's from Tennessee, and if you are familiar with his work, you probably know him from Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder, same group that we talked about Brian Sutton playing with. Cody Kilby won 4 Grammys with Kentucky Thunder. More recently, he's been playing with the Travelin' McCurries, though, which is Del McCurry's, group and family to some extent. When they don't have Del, they call it the Travelin' McCurries, and Cody Kilby is the guitar player. Excellent group, excellent music. He has played with a huge assortment of artists, and maybe out of this list has some of the most interesting credits to his name. Cody Kilby was featured on an album by Beck. Yes, Beck. We're talking about like pop or maybe indie music now. And it was a 2015 record called, what do my notes say? Morning Phase. And that record won a Grammy for Album of the Year. So Cody Kilby, whoa, crazy. I'm a little worried about Cody Kilby. It seems like this list is always the same people, and then there's like this rotating last slot, and it feels terrible to say that. Cody Kilby is that slot this year. Man, this guy deserves to win. He's never won this award before. And there's someone else on this list like that who's never won before, but Cody has never won Guitar Player of the Year, and he deserves it. He's done a lot of good work in bluegrass and is a phenomenal player. So Cody, I hope you win it. You really should. I mean, you deserve it. You certainly deserve it, man. You've done tons of work. Let's keep going. So next up is Molly Tuttle. If you're a Billy Strings fan, you probably know who Molly Tuttle is too. She is also two-time IBMA Guitar Player of the Year winner, and she is the first woman to ever win that award as well. She's also won the Americana Music Association's Instrumentalist of the Year, and she is nominated for a ton of IBMAs this year. I think she's nominated for 5, so she's right up there against Billy Strings. Molly is from California. She started playing guitar when she was like 0 years old. She's been playing forever. Her dad was a teacher as well. She played with a family band. I guess she played with the family band through her high school years, and then she went to Berklee College of Music. And there she joined a bunch of other groups. There's the Goodbye Girls, and of course the super group, the First Ladies of Bluegrass. But her solo career post Berklee has really been exploding, right? Really been doing well. And she's not against being a crossover artist where she does things that aren't strictly bluegrass, which might not be great for winning an IBMA, but I think is really good for the music in general. And I really love what she's doing. Her most recent record, the Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway record, it's kind of a return to traditionalism. So in terms of getting set up to win Guitar Player of the Year, Molly Tuttle has a great spot because she just proved that, hey, I really love bluegrass. You know, I'm here making an album that is a bluegrass record. And I think the IBMA really likes that. So she might be the one. Maybe of everyone on the list, I'm saying I hope you win, but I think Molly Tuttle might be the one that has it in the bag. If I'm wrong, everyone laugh at me, but I think Molly is kind of set up for this one. Also, Molly Tuttle's been doing speaking of crossover stuff, she's been doing a lot of work with Old Crow Medicine Show, which is also really good for the genre. Anything you can do to bring more people in is great. We know that Billy Strings is great at that. Molly Tuttle is great at that too. And maybe in the last year, Molly Tuttle has shown more of that. I don't know, it's hard to say. Last, we have my personal favorite. Dare I say that? Can I say that? I'm trying to be impartial, but it's not working, which is Trey Hensley. Trey Hensley is a Grammy-nominated artist, and he's won 3 IBMAs, but he has not won Guitar Player of the Year yet, just like Cody Kilby. Trey deserves it. Trey deserves a win, man. They keep putting him on this ballot, and they keep not giving it to him, and I just don't understand. It's Trey's time. Trey is a Johnson City, Tennessee, I want to say, native. He performed at the Grand Ole Opry when he was like 10 years old with Marty Stewart and Earl Scruggs. Around the same time, I think I read that he played with Johnny Cash and some of the other Carter family at the Carter family fold. And Johnny Cash introduced Trey Hensley to Tom T. Hall, who ended up producing some of Trey Hensley's early bluegrass records. I think that's all true. Trey, if that's wrong, tell me, and I can't do anything about it because the video is already published. Trey is a super accomplished country and blues guitar player as well. You can hear that in his records. They're not strictly bluegrass. He's really good at pulling other genres into his playing. He's probably best known, though, for his, let's say, bluegrass work because it's not strict. with dobro player Rob Ickes, and their duo Trey Hensley and Rob Ickes is just a force to be reckoned with. Trey Hensley is definitely kind of the most aggressive flat picker here. I hope he wins. I'm praying for him. Trey's gonna take it. if you haven't listened to some of these artists, like I said, I assume a lot of you are kind of, Molly Tuttle or Billy Strings camp. Definitely check out Brian Sutton, Cody Kilby, and Trey Hensley, because they are huge forces in the scene. And I love that you came to this music through someone like Molly Tuttle or Billy Strings. But man, check out some of these other players. Trey Hensley. Whoa. All right, folks, I hope I haven't ruffled too many feathers. It's kind of hard to stay too impartial when you care about the genre. I think in any case, it's going to be very fun to watch. And I believe you can't tune into the IBMA's live. They normally stream it. So I can't tell you where that is or how to do it yet, but go look it up and figure it out. I'll be there and I'll be watching. So I hope you are too. If you're going to be down there, Raleigh, North Carolina, if you're going to be downtown, you might run into me. I'm normally walking around. So, hey, say hi. Tap on my shoulder. Don't be a creep and just stare at me. Talk to me. All right, folks. I'll see you all later. You have a good one. Bye.
Through the valley below, my life was running from town. That midnight train